2, 1. What the hell's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great episode of the Cardboard Box series.
Not the bullshit hour, but happy anniversary to the bullshit hour.
This is our anniversary of the bullshit hour. Obviously, we don't do the bullshit hour anymore because we can't advertise it or do anything with it. So
this podcast wasn't bullshit, though.
No, this podcast was far from bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of depth into a lot of details. I think we talked about the pharmaceutical industry a lot, the American government structure, and just a lot of various topics about drugs and like mind-altering substances and just the brain.
Basic income, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This was the best podcast we ever did. This was an hour 45.
Yeah.
So sit back, watch it, give it a listen. Thanks for coming on, Cody. It was a great time. And yeah, guys,
enjoy.
Bye. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cardboard Box series. This is episode number 48 we got going on here. Got my co-host with me as always,
Michael.
And then we got a very special guest on with us today,
Cody Cordwell.
Hello. Cody Cordwell. This is my favorite guest to bring on. No bullshit. Not just saying that. I'm sorry to all the other guests, but had to say it.
We talking shit. How you doing, Cody?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right, just some car troubles, but that's America. That's America.
That's always a fun thing. How long are you on spring break for? Is spring break almost over?
It's done.
Oh, it's already done?
Yeah, it was a week, ended on Friday.
Damn, dude, that's a short spring break.
For some reason, I always thought spring break was longer.
Yeah, so did I.
It might be for like private universities, but public's pretty much always just, you got a week.
Yeah, because I went to Kutztown today to Althea's, and I didn't see anybody. I saw a few people walking around, but college, man. You want to dive into the first topic then? Might as well dive right on into it since we're talking about college right away.
Yeah.
Let's pull this shit up.
Corruption in America. Shocking.
Yeah.
Very shocking. What do you thought, dude? You know what I'm saying? College fraud. Let's give the backstory here. So what happened was, what's her name? The girl from Full House. Her name is, I'm going to get her full name here. I think it's...
You would never think the person from Full House,
Well, dude, in the show Full House, she committed college scam.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
which is
awesome.
Pretty crazy.
It's rather ironic.
Yeah, right?
Irony.
College scam. So what happened was her name is... There was over 50 people that are going to get in trouble for this. They did a college admission scam.
Basically what they do is that they basically put money down so they could either take tests for people along those lines, or basically the people would give free passes in college.
Yeah, like people were taking their SATs, people were doing everything. And what they were doing with these kids was they were saying like these kids were from, like say they came from high school, that they were like top on the swimming team, or like they were doing something. They were a great star athlete. In reality, they never even played that sport in their entire life. But they would bribe like a coach there or something, and the coach would take the money and then go and be like, hey, we got this person here. But dude, this has been going on for forever, dude. Like forever. This has to be going on. It's just the rich doing what the rich want to do again. But Lori,
I'm sure this isn't like an isolated incident at all.
I mean, I'm fairly certain it's been going on for a long time. This is just, now people are actually being held accountable.
Yeah. Now they're getting caught. Dude, I don't, it's kind of disgusting. Like it says here, the whole system is rigged for you guys, basically, for the rich people in this situation. But what do you think is going to happen to her? What do you think should happen to her?
I mean, she's probably only facing like a year in prison.
You think she's going to go to prison?
No.
Yeah.
She's going to prison.
I think that was the maximum, wasn't it, a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's probably not going to get that shit.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think she's going to college.
If the bankers on Wall Street that caused the 2008 recession aren't going to prison, then they're not going to prison.
Yeah.
They'll pay some fines, and it's nothing they can't handle. So
when her daughter found out that she was getting in trouble, she was on a nice little yacht for spring break, chilling. And then she said she's not going to go back to USC because she'll get bullied too much, which is probably fucking true.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because a lot of people were like, I knew she couldn't play any sports. Like, I was sitting here telling everybody that she couldn't play any sports, and now look at it. Like, her name's Olivia Jade. She's a big YouTuber. Like, I don't know, dude. People,
Shit can happen, man.
I think USC has a lawsuit against them now too. Like, parents that couldn't get their kids into USC are now suing USC. Like, which is kind of, I don't know if they're gonna win that or.
I mean, they at least have a case. They at least have a case, if anything.
Because I don't even know if USC came out with a statement about this yet.
I'm sure they did, but I mean, if you even look at Harvard and they only take in so many Asian Americans per year because they like are afraid that they're gonna they're gonna be overrepresented. Like, they actively put out, or they prevent, like, Asian Americans from coming to Harvard just because they want the demographics to be more even.
Well, that's a big scandal with Harvard right now too, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that was a part of it.
I'm pretty sure the lawsuit that they brought up a lawsuit just got thrown out.
Oh, of course it did. I want to see what's going on with that.
Well, it's hard to file a lawsuit against a college like Harvard or USC because think about how much revenue and money they're making.
Well,
per
that's
year.
my biggest thing is, like, this is showing that college is, like, I'm not saying college is 100% of a scam, but I'm saying, like, colleges care more about the money they're bringing in. They don't give a fuck about the students. They don't care how much is tuition, how much money they're bringing in. And I don't think... Most thing I think corrupts in college is NCAA basketball and, like, NCAA period.
Oh, yeah.
I think college sports are one of the most corrupt things going on in America.
I think they should get paid.
Yeah, they should get paid 100%.
I think that would solve the problem. Sort of the problem.
Well, it's like, dude, you're on TV. Like, Zion, how many times has Zion Wright been on TV? Zion Williams. Zion Wright's a person.
Yeah, ESPN dick rides him so hard. Granted, he is one of the best. He's going to be one of the best dunkers of, like, probably, and going down as NCAA history. He's one of the best dunkers in NCAA history.
Yeah. But like, when your face is plastered, posted on social media, posted everywhere, they're talking about you constantly. How the fuck, like, how do you not get any revenue for that? Because you're going to college? Like,
not even that. They can't even make money off their own name, their own namesake. Which that's the part I have a problem with. It's, if you want to stop, like, having students, like, not make, like, a salary, that I can understand that, but to the point where they can't even make money off their own what they're doing.
I think what should happen is they should get paid to a similar wage, just like they do to doctorate students who like have a fellowship. Mm-hmm. They get, like, I don't know, like $30,000-$40,000 a year. They get health care, and then they should also be able to get any kind of endorsement deals. Yeah,
endorsement deals all day. They should be able to get endorsement deals. And that's just the NCAA being like, well, we don't get a percent out of it, so you can go fuck yourself. And the NBA, Adam Silver, after Zion Williams... Oh, is his last name Williamson? I'm throwing a blank here, dude.
Everyone Williamson? Just kind of shorts it at Williams, I think. But yeah, well, I think Williamson.
I think it's. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh shit, Zion was What was I getting at? What was I saying before this?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Oh fuck! I was talking about Zion being.
Dick ride him.
Yeah, we were talking about Zion Williams making money off his own namesake.
I can't remember now, dude.
It's sort of the same thing as, like, well, the same thing happened to Anthony Davis a couple of years ago. Anthony Davis literally came out and said, I can't afford to go into, like, their, like, shop and, like, buy my jersey.
Yeah, well, that's what I remember I was gonna say. How after Zion Williams tore his fucking shoe in half that one night, and literally 2 days later, the NBA was like, we're introducing something, we're gonna vote on it and see what happens. That players from high school can come right from high school into the NBA instead of going through college.
Yeah.
And the only person that's pissing off is the NCAA. Because if that happens to the NCAA, they're going to lose a shit ton of revenue. If players that are so good, like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, just decide, I'm not going to college. What's the point? Like, I can go make $1 million next week. Why the hell would I go to the NCAA? Like, it's not like any of these players, actually a lot of the players, most of the one and done players they go for 1 year. Like, what the hell is the point of that?
It's really that, and specifically basketball, that's a bigger problem than it is in the NFL. But
yeah, because I feel like in basketball you need to play, like, you can play 1 year and be good. Football, you need experience on the field at college.
And also, like, you do in the NFL, you can't you're not eligible for the draft until you've been to college for 3 years.
Yeah.
So basically like you're pretty much done at least with a bachelor's degree at that point, so you might as well finish it.
Yeah. Lori, finish up on this topic. Lori Laughlin, she hired the best fucking lawyers in LA and all that good stuff. I don't know. I think it's disgusting. I don't know what's going to happen. Because there was a video that came out too. Like her daughter, Olivia Jade's a YouTube star.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like, she called England a city or something. Like she said England a city. And her daughter's like, oh, no, Lori Laughlin was like, oh, I'm paying for your college and you don't even know England's not a city. And she was like, and then she made like a comment like how much money she's paying for her college. And then like looked at the camera and was like, you're dumb. You just threw yourself on the bus so heavy, dude. Like, I don't think she'll do jail. I don't think any of these jail people will do jail time because...
No way.
No, dude, it's America. You're rich, you got money, you're pretty much good. Like, not all the time, but if you can hire the best lawyers, if you can just drag the case on and just... It's...
So basically, I think the question is America more like a democracy at this point or more like an oligarchy?
That's a good question.
Because we're at a point now where like there's such a difference in wealth in America.
Oh, huge, dude.
From the very top to the very bottom, that what really runs America at this point. Because like you can vote for laws, but those same laws are being influenced sometimes. I'm not saying, I think people over exaggerate it. I don't think it's in a constant regular basis that people are being bought out, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So when you have this issue, it just sort of comes of, is it more about the money, is it more about the votes?
Yeah. Well, lobbyists, everything's, if you have money, you have an upper hand on people. And that's the thing in this country that disgusts people. Because the lower class feels like they get the shit end of the stick. Even with Trump's taxes and all that shit, people get pissed off about like, we're not going to tax the rich, we're going to tax the middle class and lower class and trickle down economics, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. If you're rich and you have money, you're more than likely to be able to get out of something. If you get in trouble with the cops, you do this, you could do that, you can get out of it. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. Because I don't agree with lobbyists that much. I don't think lobbying is
oligarchic democracy.
I think part of like the reason though that they are able to kind of just pay their way out of crimes is because the DA knows that they're going to just drag this on forever and ever and ever because they have all the money to afford the most expensive lawyers. They're going to get injunctions and they're gonna, if they are found guilty, they're just going to just keep going back to court over and over. And so maybe they would rather just settle with them, say, hey, pay a fine and we don't have to deal with all of this.
Yeah.
Because their time is worth money too.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even with Robert Kraft, like when he got in trouble and they're like, he's going to have to pay like $5,000, he's not going to jail. There's no way he goes to prison.
Yeah.
And he's not going to show up to court. Like he's not going to go to court. He's going to, I don't know if he let's look up if he has to go now because I know I was hearing something that he probably has to go.
It's just a result of our kind of failing judicial system.
Do you think it'll ever change? Do you think money, like, do you think, I don't even know how to describe this, but like,
do you think money will ever like cease to play such a bigger factor
like a
in
huge
like day-to-day like life in America?
Yeah.
It can't not.
Yeah.
Though.
Exactly. Because like, you know, when people are like, oh, money does not buy happiness and blah, blah, blah.
Well, it does actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Up to $70,000 a year.
Yeah. Like that brings you happiness. It does. It brings you comfort, which comfort brings you happiness. Knowing you have money to pay your bills, knowing you have all this cash, not all this cash, but just enough money that you can pay your bills and not have to stress about paying your bills.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a giant relief. Like that's a giant relief off people. And that's why like we will say the older I get, the more I realize like money does buy happiness to an extent. Like not always, because there's rich people that are fucking, look at all the celebrities that kill themselves with drug overdoses and stuff like that.
Yeah, there is a decline. The studies that they conduct, they found that $70,000 is like the level which there is no more happiness to be gained from money. But then once you reach a certain level, there is like a slow decline in happiness. Yeah. Actually, as you have more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I guess is just a result of, I don't know, people begging you for money or you just looking for something to spend it on, and maybe drugs is one of those things.
Yeah. Because it's weird looking at celebrities and stuff and seeing how like everybody's like, oh, these people have such a great life and blah blah blah, and they end up killing themselves or drug overdoses and stuff like that. And it's like
money will never cure the root issues of someone's life. will cure like aspects of a person's
Yeah,
life.
it will.
But
It will.
root core emotional issues need to be, there's only one way. There's not one way, but you need to sort them out through yourself, and you need to find out how to sort those out.
Yeah.
And it's not as simple as just being like, well, here's a stack of money.
Yeah.
That's
I think it might even be like a dopamine issue, because when they have all this money, they can buy every single vacation and item that they want. They get all this huge dopamine rush every single time, and it gets to a point where they need more, and they need more because they build up a tolerance to it.
Yeah.
And so they kind of look towards other avenues, whether that be drugs, whether that be, I don't know, something else.
Yeah.
Gambling, whatever.
Well, I feel like with social media now too, our dopamine levels are at like an all-time low for a whole goddamn nation right now. I don't know. We talked about social media on this podcast before, but I really feel like, because I was just saying to Michael last night how like when I don't go on Facebook or Instagram throughout my entire day, I feel so much better than if I were to sit on my phone and just stare at Instagram and stuff. And like, because you look at the rich people and you're like, fuck, dude, I'm a loser. Like I feel like I'm not doing enough for myself, or doing enough for like, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. And I feel like that's why depression, I'm not saying that's the main reason why depression's heavy. There's a lot of reasons why depression's heavy in this country, but like, I feel like that plays a big role for like kids growing up, our generation. Like I don't know. I feel
people
like,
want that acceptance, and like the acceptance of being like, not necessarily cool, but
accepted by people.
Yeah.
too.
They simply just want that people acknowledge them and be like, and that's why I think specifically with like Instagram, I know we use Instagram to like promote this podcast a lot, and as an advertisement tool, it's one thing, but if you use it as like, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing every single second, I think that's when it becomes problematic.
Yeah.
But you can only use it as an advertisement tool because people look at it every second.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the problem.
Two-bladed sword.
Double-bladed sword with that one. But no, I don't know, dude. Our country's we got some problems right now. We got some good problems.
Everybody got problems.
But like, what is the first step to solving these problems? Because I feel like I hear that a lot. Like, the country has a lot of problems. Okay. Well, where do we start?
See, that's a good question. Like, where do we start with, like, social media and stuff like that, or like just all the fucking problems?
Just in general, like, I just hear all the time, oh, the United States is fucked up. Mm-hmm. Okay, I agree. What are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Like, we can't just sit here and just keep saying it's fucked up and never do anything about it. We actually have to start moving forward to making this nation better.
Yeah. What do you think is one of the main problems that we could fix in this country that's fixable? Like, I mean, everything's fixable, but like, we could do in like a good amount of time, maybe. Or
I think the two biggest things is income inequality and possibly social media to an extent. I think we need to have just a basic income that we give to everybody.
Yeah.
I think we dissolve the welfare programs. I think we dissolve all of these other public assistance programs, get rid of all of the administrative costs associated with that, and just make one central organization that just writes everyone a check every single month.
Yeah, sort of like streamline it.
Yeah. And when you eliminate all those administrative costs, it's close to, like, if you would just give everybody a check for like close to the highest amount that they award, like on welfare.
Yeah.
It would almost be the same amount.
Yeah.
It's that number, it's only going to become more and more even, because Social Security is going to be 2 to 1 and shit like that. And
I mean, and if you also start, taxing corporations properly instead of letting Amazon pay $0 last year in taxes,
which makes no sense to me. Like, this whole trickle-down economics thing doesn't make fucking
it doesn't work at all.
It doesn't. And I don't know, like,
it's America's society.
It's a good concept to an extent if people weren't so fucking money hungry. Like, if you say to a corporation, hey man, trickle-down economics, man, just spend more money and help us out a little. Fuck no, dude. If Jeff Bezos has $1 billion, he's not satisfied with $1 billion.
Yeah.
He wants more money. Money's like a drug to an
greed.
extent. Yeah, it's like, okay, I got $1 billion. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more.
Well, yeah, this is basically trickle-up economics.
Yeah.
Because you eliminate all those administrative functions, and then the rest of the money comes from taxing the top corporations appropriately. And then, what do you know? People have more money. What are they going to do with it? They're going to spend it.
Exactly.
They're going to pay off their bills. They're going to fix that car problem that they've been putting off. They're going to go maybe buy a new TV because they have a 20-year-old one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it's about goddamn time that these corporations start paying a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even it's not even. There's different ways you can do it too. Like you can give them tax breaks. If you want to give corporation tax break, that's fine, but make them do something to earn those tax breaks. So make them show you that they put certain money somewhere in certain communities to help. Like I don't know like the exact logistics of it, but like basically like if you make them earn the tax break instead of just giving it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this tax year they lowered the corporate tax rate, which I think is a good idea because our corporate tax rate was ridiculously high.
It's through the roof.
But if we're going to lower it, then you need to start making the corporations actually start paying that lower level. And tax breaks do not solve the problems that they say they're solving. Oh, they're bringing jobs back. No, they took those tax breaks and then still moved the jobs out.
Exactly.
Does it really matter though that they're moving these jobs out or that illegal immigrants have these jobs? Because Americans don't want them anyway. That's why people are being paid almost nothing for them because no one wants them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like the whole farm jobs. Like I think we had this conversation before off podcast about how if all legal immigrants were gone and like there was none left, Trump deported them or whoever deported them.
Yeah. So basically the philosophy like holds true and like Trump gets rid of all the illegal immigrants.
Which is impossible.
Yeah, literally impossible.
But talking about the farm work, not only the logistics of it, but talking about like the actual work that's going to be missing, then no one's going to take minimum wage to work at a farm.
Oh, or less than they pay them like $3, $4.
Yeah, so that the government would have to step in and they would have to put money into that so that farmers could still afford to make crops.
And we already subsidize farms enough as it is. But
yeah, farming's fucked, dude. It's on. Like I worked at Ace for a while and I saw how hard farmers work and how shitty they get treated and how like they don't like farmers. You think farmers make a ton of money like with the big tractors and shit? No, dude, they don't make. If they have a bad year, like when it rains a shit ton here and their fucking crops get destroyed, it's awful for them. It's not a good time at all.
Yeah, and I pity the small farmers.
Yeah, exactly.
The small time farmers, the ones that we see around here. The big corporate industrial farm complexes,
disgusting.
I do not give a shit about.
No, neither do I. It's because like that's when we were talking about legalization of weed, like, and how I feel like weed should be a mom and pop thing. I don't think any big corporation should take over weed. I don't think it would be right at all. I think it would be honestly terrible.
Yeah,
but I feel like local, just like I don't know, I forget what I was getting at, but
my problem with that is how do you like keep it local though?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you, because if this local mom and pop joint grows big enough, what do they just have to stop selling?
Yeah, exactly.
Weed then?
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a really good point too.
The same, and then basically the same. You see the same thing happening with like Walmart, for example, up here. Like some shops in Hamburg had to close down because of that. And I think to an certain extent that's okay. I think if you have one big corporation for a state and like other small mom and pop stores in that same state, that would be okay. But to basically allow one big corporation rule over the entire country, I think that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a problem to an extent that these big corporations are coming in and just kind of effectively closing small businesses. But I think part of it is also that small businesses a lot of times are run very poorly and they don't adapt to changes. So a lot of times it's their own fault that they go out of business.
Yeah, because you still see some stores in Hamburg now that are still standing there.
That are doing well because they're doing the right thing. They're adapting the change. They're bringing customers. They're advertising effectively.
Yeah, we just bought Whistler on the last podcast. The one bar is
1787.
Yeah, 1787.
It's doing great.
Yeah, dude, it's doing awesome.
I went in there one time. I did not know that any restaurant in Hamburg could pack that many people into it.
I know, dude. It's honestly crazy how packed that place gets. And they have great beer. Shout out 1787.
Yeah.
I don't even drink that much of that beer. Good, dude. It's really good.
Their food's not bad either.
I didn't try their food yet.
I like their
heard
food.
It's good stuff, though. Another question I got is, what do you feel about Bernie suggesting about raising minimum wage? How do you feel about, he wants to raise it, I think it's like $14. Bernie's talking about
you mentioned the living wage
becomes
before.
Presidency.
Well, I'm talking about more of just giving everyone a check, basically.
Yeah, basic income. Do you think that'll ever happen? Do you think we'll get to a point in the United States where robots? We're
gonna have to do something soon with AI.
Yeah.
Because even the what is the word I'm looking for? The most conservative reports say that within probably 15 years, there's going to be millions and millions of jobs taken over by AI. The first of which being long distance truck drivers. There might be still some, like, basically jockeys that'll take the long haul trucks to their local destinations, because there's still kind of a problem when it comes to small towns and like big cities and stuff. But in terms of long distance haulers, all those jobs are going to be gone.
Yeah.
We can, I'm fairly certain that they already have the technology to do it. They just haven't approved it for the road yet.
Yeah. Didn't Tesla release a truck, like a 18-wheeler?
Yes, they have one.
Yeah.
And they already have the fully autonomous, like, gear and the like the necessary equipment built into their cars. They're just not allowed to use it yet because they haven't been approved to use it yet.
Yeah, people are like scared of self-driving cars. I think like it was like a study that it was like 71% of Americans don't trust self-driving cars.
But it's already it's way safer already than just people driving.
You even have like jobs on a lesser degree too that you're going to be missing out, such as like fast food jobs. So then those
are the next to go.
Yeah, and then you got Walmart, basically not just Walmart. I'm just using Walmart as a generalization for grocery stores, but self-checkouts are. Any place that has self-checkouts, that's taking away jobs from cashiers, people.
Yeah.
And also, I know the one warehouse not even too far away. I'm not 100% sure if it's the Bear warehouse, the Bear Paint warehouse, but I'm pretty sure that it's pretty much all electronically run.
Wow, I believe the statistic I read was that 80 to 90% of retail jobs and warehouse jobs will very easily be replaced by it within the next like 10 to 15 years.
Well, dude, I went into McDonald's in Schuylkill County. And I walked in, dude, and they have those new kiosk things where you don't talk to anybody. You just stand at the screen and order. You make your own order, you put it in, it's like sheets, but you just pay there too. And it's super, super weird. Because if you think about, now they don't need two people up front. Eventually it's going to get to a point where
Eventually it's going to get to the point where they're sliding down patties from like a robot slot, just put it on here.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. Self-driving cars, to me, it's like, with the whole self-driving car thing and how people are weird about it, it's kind of like, well, dude, you could drive your car and fucking somebody could hit you and kill you. Like, because the whole, like, 3 Teslas, or like, I don't know how many Teslas that crashed when they were self-driving.
I want to say 3 to 4. There's been like 2 deaths, but there's thousands and thousands of Teslas on the road.
Yeah.
And there's only been that many crashes, and most of them were the driver's fault anyway, because they warn you before you're supposed to take over the wheel. And a lot of these people were sleeping in the car. It was raining, and so the monitors don't effectively work in the rain.
Oh,
and so
shit.
they were warning them over and over. Like, for about a minute and a half, I believe, they'll warn you, and then they'll just now you have control of the car.
Yeah.
It's become an issue.
And so, like, someone was sleeping, and that's the person that hit the back of the tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Because he didn't take over the wheel after the car was telling him to.
Yeah, because there's like, I remember this video I saw, it had to be like 2 years ago now. It was a video of a dude, like some dude was in traffic and they were going through traffic, and then like the dude just looks over and the dude in the Tesla's literally just fucking fast asleep. Like he's 100% asleep sitting behind the wheel, which is crazy.
The design of the Tesla autopilot program is not to let you just completely ignore the drive. It's to make your commute more enjoyable.
Exactly.
And put less strain on you so that when you are in town, you're more fresh and alert. That was the design of it. It was not to let you just completely forget about the road altogether. It was to make you fresher and to put less strain on your body.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're traveling 4 or 5 hours and you're sitting on a highway nonstop, that puts some strain on you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving at night. And so the design was just to make that part easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with your brother commuting to Philly, like imagine just even coming from here to Philly, which is like an hour drive.
Yeah.
Like, the stress from not driving when that when it starts getting really difficult, the closer and closer to the city.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is after work when you get off work and you have like an hour and a half drive. Because my job, I have to drive an hour to 10 minutes at home every fucking day. And by the time you're done working 8 to 10 hours,
You just don't.
you're fucking pissed off. You don't want to, like, I get so much more road rage when I'm coming home than in the morning. Like, dude, I'm obviously not going to flip somebody off because I don't want to cause any problems. But, dude, I'll be, like, yelling in my car because I just want to get home, dude. Like, I just don't want to be driving anymore because driving does get tedious after a while. Like, dude, you ever have those times where you're driving and, like, an hour's gone by and you're like,
oh, every day.
Dude, I don't even, like, I could have, like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I zoned out the entire time. Because it gets to the point where you're just, like, holding the wheel, like, just fucking, it's, like, just another thing. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. It
It's
sort of
weird,
becomes, like,
though.
second nature at that point.
How did you think basic income will, like, work fully? Obviously, we're going to have some, like...
You have to, or else millions of people are going to be out of work, and then we're going to have... like ridiculous amounts of unemployment and people that are just like living on the street.
You know what's scary, dude? We haven't had, like, I was listening to something, I forget what it was, but they were talking about how, like, we haven't had, like, a decline in our economy recently. Since,
We're
like,
due for one.
Yeah, we've been due for one for the past, I think 2 years
Good old
ago.
crash.
We're due for one. We thought we were seeing the start of it back in the last year when the market declined a good bit in December.
Yeah.
It's picked back up since then, and the Fed was even kind of like wary to raise rates. So when they just convened, they left the rates where they were.
Yeah.
I think they might have been raising them a little too fast because I think everyone thinks the economy is a lot better than it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a big factor to do with that is Obama put in stimulus plans as he was leaving. I think those stimulus plans take time to enact. That's what people don't understand, that like when you put a stimulus plan in, it's not just going to be like, boom, the economy.
It's not
better.
instant. You don't instantly see the effects. And that's why some people have been wary to do stimulus packages because they don't get to see the effects when they're in office. And so people associate the good economy with the next president, as bad as that is.
Yeah.
They're not concerned with, or some individuals aren't concerned with helping the country as a whole. They're more concerned of what can be attributed to them directly.
Yeah, which is fucking narcissistic people, dude. But
Probably
no,
why
that's
Trump
like
funded NASA.
Well, like when Trump came in and he just got rid of all of Obama's packages and was like, that's what was destroying our economy. It's like, dude, they didn't even have time to go in and like see what they would have done. So it makes Obama's presidency like
meaningless.
Yeah, like literally not all meaningless, but like a lot of the shit he did was like all the work, and like that's what I don't know. I feel like there should be something in our economy where, okay, he put the stimulus package in, unless it's completely ripping our fucking economy apart. They should stay in until they actually start doing something, see how they go, and then take them out.
You could probably do something about that on like a governmental level, like basically like making a law. Like you would have to sort of make it a law to like you can't repeal certain, but it gets a gray area then, and that's
it's just hard because then that leaves the opportunity for things that really shouldn't exist to exist there for like 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to institute some kind of basic income, and I hear a lot of times the argument, oh well, it's gonna make people lazy. Well,
I don't agree with that.
Well, considering the fact that the average time that people are in public assistance right now is about 4 months.
Yeah.
Because people get bored.
Mm-hmm.
People get really fucking bored just sitting at home and doing nothing all day.
Yeah.
And it's not like the money would be really enough to like live well for.
Just be enough to support you.
It would be enough to get you by on a very basic level.
Yeah.
So enough to, buy your very basic necessities, afford a very, very small house in terms of rent. And that's it.
Well, that's even like going back to earlier with the money situation. Like, I feel like obviously some people get lazy off it. Some people probably would get lazy and just take the money. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it would make people that don't want to work but have to work and kind of just want to like if I could just not work and focus on the podcast fucking 5 days a week or do other stuff I'd like to do and have that check them in, but
then we create a society that's happier because they're less afraid to do things that they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like there's not as much risk involved.
We've seen a net decrease in entrepreneurs in the last 10 years, a significant drop.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid, especially after this last recession, they're afraid that they're going to put all this work into it and then they're going to be on the street.
Yeah.
well, now you have something to fall back on.
Exactly.
I think it also decreases recidivism.
Yeah.
For prisoners, because if they're in jail, they're not getting this money. Now they know that when they come out of jail, they have the safety net to at least help them out a little bit.
They can do something instead of going back to selling drugs or doing what they were doing for a hustle and like
just to get by in a lot of instances.
And that it would be significantly more effective than welfare programs.
It would be.
And right there, you got a wage. You have a wage there.
And again, people say, "Oh, we can't afford it," but number one, if you tax corporations effectively, not to mention all this money that's going back to these corporations, they're just going to see it come back to them anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many potential problems that this can solve and we aren't even looking into it.
No.
Hardly.
Yeah. People, like, you say basic income to people are like, no, and just shut it down, like, instantly. It seems like nobody wants to talk about basic income. And like you said, it's going to be a problem.
Or even universal health care, because then that's going to be another issue, because once people don't have these jobs, and then what don't they have? They don't have health care then. So then they're going to be looking for government assistance with that healthcare. And I don't think Obamacare was effective. I don't think it worked properly, but we need to start moving and taking steps more towards that direction.
It was a good first step.
Yeah.
It was a very good first step. I think we need to institute a system that is part private, part government based, which we kind of have now.
Yeah.
But it needs to be more streamlined, and it needs to be a lot cheaper than it is right now.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think we need to start putting limits on pricing of healthcare premiums, pharmaceuticals, etc.
Yeah, we were talking about pharmaceuticals a little bit before the podcast.
Yeah, let's dive into pharmaceuticals. Let's dive into that real quick.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
That was a great segue.
Yeah. Dude, that shit makes you riled up, man. I know we were talking about, we can start off with like the first over the cost of drugs in America.
Yeah. I mean, there's this kind of notion that we need to keep the pharmaceutical industry, it needs to be based in capitalism. Well, then we also want to say that we're going to get mad at these corporations for hiking up these drug prices.
Yeah.
So how can you get mad at something that you're causing directly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're a corporation. They're there to make money. And if you're going to allow them to function as a normal corporation, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and make more money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should get rid of the ability for them to effectively monopolize drug for 15 years after they create it, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't put the money into researching it, because they wouldn't be able to recoup their profits, because then we'd just be able to copy them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there needs to be limits on the amount they can charge if we're going to get mad at drug prices being as high as they are.
Yeah. Insulin. I think insulin's the most used example for this. It's just something that people literally need. That's almost like $700.
Yeah, dude. My friend pays like
ridiculous.
I think like $400 or $500 a month for all of his diabetic stuff, which is. That's fucking.
That's rent.
It's not like he was like, I want to get diabetes today. Like, it's not like he wanted it. It's something that happened to him uncontrollably. He can't do it because he was one of the I forget what it's called.
Type 1.
Yeah,
type
it's
2.
Like type 1 or which is the one where I'll look it up. When you're not.
I think it's type 1.
Yeah, when you're not born with it, but you get it later in life. And he's like, dude, he's the skinniest dude I've ever met. Like, he's my friend Dan. That's one Dan. Which
former person on the podcast.
Yeah, another person on the podcast. Yeah. But what do you think's like?
Well, I think that insurance companies should be required to cover pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how they're not already. That's a very strange concept to me. And they say, oh, well, there's assistance and there's programs. It's still fucking expensive.
Super expensive, dude. Super, super expensive. It's
and some people don't even, like, for example, like people, like, there's different people that have like multiple health issues and like even like really specific health issues that don't. It's hard to get the medicine for them.
Yeah, very hard to get the medicine.
And I know we were talking about before, like people are having a hard time even getting like Percocets now, which is sort of not necessarily a good thing. I think it's the intention was good.
The intention was good, but the people that need them are having a hard time getting them because they've decreased the supply by over half.
Yeah, because like I had a friend, Ryan, obviously my best friend, who wasn't involved in a very bad car accident, and he he tried to get, for his back, some anything, and the doctor wouldn't prescribe to him because he's young. And like we said earlier when we were talking before the podcast, they don't want to prescribe to young kids because they don't want to get kids hooked because of the whole epidemic going on now. But now with people like, because people say like, oh, if you're just going to resort to heroin if you do Percocets. It's like, no, dude, people genuinely need these. And the people that are fucking it up is like, and you can blame Florida for this one. You can blame Florida very, very, very heavily for this one. Because Florida, dude, I don't know if it was like 5 or 6 years ago, you literally could go to Florida. You could walk into a clinic, say my back's killing me. Here's Percocet 30, 100 of them.
They didn't track it.
Boom.
Fucking Florida.
Next clinic, down the fucking road, a mile down the road. Hey, my back's killing me. I need something. Here's another bottle of Percocets. I watched this it was like a short documentary on these kids from Florida. They realized what was going on. Like they were, I think they were like freshmen in college, and they realized that they could just get them. Like they would just send people down there, get as many as they could, and then they would sell them. And they got caught, obviously, and that's why Florida had to get shut down, basically. But it's like, painkillers are a weird thing. They're fucking super addictive. They're very not good for the population. I think you need like small doses of it. I don't think there should be like, because like I know people that get 120 Oxy 30s a month. A fucking month, dude.
Yeah,
like
that's way too much.
You're not going to be a functional human if they tell you to take 4 of those in a day. Like, you're not going to be... I mean, if you have pain, yeah, but it's like at the point where it's like, shit, dude. Like, how fast did the doctor boost him up from 5s to 15s to 30s? Like, I don't know, dude. It's a very, very hard area right now that our country has it's going to be...
that's a perspective I didn't see before. It's like they not only did they have to, they're taking that now, but there had to be build up to that.
Yeah.
So you can't just take that much and you'll die. But like, that's crazy because I could totally see how people would get addicted to them then.
Well, then there's the fake Percocets people are making, like, which is a very big problem too. That's because fentanyl's that's another whole goddamn story. I don't understand fentanyl.
Fake pharmaceuticals in general is a problem.
Huge problem, dude.
They don't efficiently track where shipments are coming from and where they're supposed to be delivered to.
Yeah.
So there have actually been many instances of people shipping or like outside factories shipping fake pharmaceuticals to actual pharmacies, and then they are dispensing them.
Wow.
For even simple things.
Yeah.
For like, I don't know, like Tylenol.
Yeah.
Even for just very, very simple things.
Yeah.
That's
who's
there's
the blame
fake
there?
pharmaceuticals.
Is the FDA?
Well, go ahead. I got a point then. Go ahead, Cody.
I'm sure it's partly the FDA. There just needs to be a more efficient tracking method of these drugs.
Yeah.
And we only seem to care about opioids.
Yeah.
At least at this point. And then we also want to shut down any effort of people trying to find other methods such as kratom.
Yeah. Which that's the thing I could dive right. We'll talk about that after we finish this topic. But what I was going to say is I was watching another documentary on pharmaceuticals because I'm like, I don't know. The fucking pharmaceuticals are bad. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I used to have a little bit of a problem with pills back in the day. It was not fun. It's not good. It used to be very easy to get them. It's not anymore. Like, it's very hard. But I forget what I was gonna say. Fuck.
It's difficult, dude. Because once you get wrapped up into it, and like it sort of draws you in.
Well, it's like, I don't know, dude. It's big farm. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I watched this documentary on this little town in Georgia, super, super tiny town, maybe the population of like 5,000, and they were supposed to get like a certain amount of shipments in of opioids. And what happened was, because this is another thing that seems shady with the pharmaceutical companies, is the pharmaceutical companies just pushed a fucking boatload of Percocets on them, enough to kill the town like 10 times over. And like, I think that was, I forget who it was, but I think it was the pharmaceutical companies like, hey, here you go, like fucking take them, like we don't know what to do with them. And I feel like with opioids more per se, it's more of a business, it seems like, for me with the opioids.
That's the whole pharmaceutical industry.
Like, it's just now, since it's an epidemic and people are realizing, all right, these shits are not good for people. Like, doctors are kind of backing off and like want you to try everything before you get to them. Like, really push you away from, if you really need them, here, take them. Like, you obviously need them. But like you said with kratom, how people are like trying to shut down kratom. Like, we were talking the other time how I came home the other day and my stepdad was like, oh, somebody died from kratom again. They fucking were driving their car and had a heart attack. And
the Penn Live article.
Yeah, well, I gotta look that up because I didn't even look it up. I just
what happened was this kid Which in the Penn Live article, you actually don't even see that he crashed his car. They just say that he died of mild. What is the Latin name for it?
Latin name for kratom.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
Whatever. It's mild, whatever the Latin name is, intoxication. Well, what the fuck happened?
There's no way you just die strictly from kratom.
Well, my thing is now what they're doing, since kratom is coming huge, like a lot of, because dude, it's a fucking, like I take it probably 5 days out of the week because it gives me energy. I tell people all the time, like, you don't get fucking high off it unless you eat like 15 grams. It's more of a little stimulant. It's like drinking 4 cups of coffee, and like kind of gives you a mood boost. You feel like super happy, and like it's nothing like a fucking, like people are like, it's just like a Percocet. No, dude, it's fucking.
It works on the same receptors, but it doesn't have the same effect.
Exactly. It works in the same receptors, but it does not have anywhere near the same effect. And it's another thing, since it's getting so fucking big, people are trying to jump on that, and they're selling you kratom. They're selling you kratom, parentheses. It's not actually kratom, because kratom's hard. Like, it's hard to put. India's like, I think, the main producer of it. I think it's one of the only places.
Does it come from a plant?
I think Indonesia is a big supplier of it as well.
Well, it's illegal in Indonesia too. I'm pretty sure it's illegal in a lot of other places.
Because I think they finally just made it legal in Indonesia.
Did
Why
they?
though?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why?
Because people say it has an addictive property. And but my point of the thing is, it's like, everything has a fucking addictive property if you want to look at it in that aspect. Like, it hits the same receptors, blah blah blah. But it's like, I don't know. I don't think people are dying just from kratom.
I can guarantee you they're not.
Exactly. Go ahead. My bad.
No, you're fine. But the bull or the guy, kid, whatever that supposedly died from kratom, he was driving his car, flipped his car, flew out the window, hit his head on the curb, and then when they came to see what happened, the coroner put on his death certificate, he died from mild whatever intoxication. I still can't think of the Latin
term.
It starts with I can't even say it, dude. Matera
Su.
It's like Matera speciosa or something like that.
I didn't mean to. By the way, I didn't mean to laugh at the guy crashing. I laughed at the kratom, that the guy blamed the kratom and not everything that happened.
On the death certificate, there's no mention of the car being flipped over or him hitting his head. They're saying it's directly because of kratom.
Yeah, it says here both ODs have been ruled accidental.
Yeah.
Bro, I've taken, like, when I first started taking, I would like use it to try to get high, and I would take, like, one time I remember I took like 14 grams, which I don't recommend kratom at low doses. Low doses is
what's a low dose?
Like, if you get capsules, I usually take 5 capsules at a time. Like, I like 6 in the morning.
They're half-gram capsules, right?
What?
They're like half-gram capsules?
Yeah, like half-gram capsules, like 7.735 or some shit like that. I take like 5 grams, so that'd be like, I don't know, like 3 grams, 2.5 grams or something like that.
Yeah, you take 5, something like that.
And I take like 5 in the morning at like, when I go to work, like at 7 in the morning. Then I'll take like another 5 at like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then that's it. I'm done for the day. And if you take it in that, you won't get sick. But if you do it the way I did it,
that's almost like 3 times the amount.
Yeah, because when I did it, I was just trying to get fucked up, and I ate the powder, and I ate like 14 grams, and later in the night I made a milkshake of it, another like fucking 10 grams.
Yeah.
I was sick for 2 days. Because what it does is, if you take that large quantities, it's like grabbing a sponge and just fucking like wringing it out. It just sucks all the water out of your body. And that's like any other thing you take. I heard somebody say this, and it's like, there's always, for something upwards, there's always a negative to it. Like there's always a downside to something, no matter how good it is. And that's how everything is, I feel like. I'm trying to find
you have to find the balance. I think that it has a lot to do with finding the balance of things. I think there are a lot of things in life just need you to find sort of the balance between the good of it and the bad of it, the seed in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy to do, though.
Even like if we look at alcohol, for example, if someone is drunk driving and they kill themselves, we don't blame the alcohol.
No.
I mean, I guess we do to an extent, but we blame the dumbass driver who got in his car and crashed his car.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't say, oh, you died directly because of alcohol intoxication. No, that would be as if you got alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's even like, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the gun situation and how how they say like gun killings are like fucking through the roof. Well, I didn't know, but they put like suicides in there.
Oh, yeah.
And like they put all the statistics of people dying. Like, because I think Ted Nugent brought it up saying like, look at the real stats of like how many people actually die from guns and take out like all that other shit and like see who's actually getting killed. And it was a very valid point, and that's what they were saying about their alcohol too. Because they're saying about weed too. Like, oh, if we started testing the way we test on people, like when they die from like in a car accident, if we tested for weed, we could say they died from weed. And it's like, I don't know, dude. I feel like for the whole opiate thing, I get like a weird thing because I feel like it's a pharmaceutical company being like, taking away customers from us. Like, what the fuck are you trying to do here? But that's just me, how I feel with it. I don't know.
As far as the gun thing goes, I really don't think that the answer to shootings and things along those lines, which don't, like you said, the statistics are often screwed with it. A lot of statistics are for if you're supporting a left opinion, the statistics are going to be like more to that side, and same with the right wing opinion. I think the answer to guns isn't to like ban all guns. I think banning assault rifles might be a good idea, but like not like you can't ban every single gun. It's going to make people mad. And also I think dealing with the mental health issues that cause these shootings is the real answer.
Yeah.
But you're more likely to, for example, like the same thing goes with terrorism. When we're talking about terrorism, like people are petrified of terrorists at some point, but like you're more likely to get struck by lightning than to die in a terrorist attack.
But my thing is, we're going to jump topics here. Why, when there's a mass shooting in our country, why do we not call it terrorism ever? Like, if it's a white male who goes and kills 30 people, we never seem to call it terrorism, which is weird.
Or if we go into another country and start killing innocent civilians, we don't call it terrorism either.
We're just trying to help them. Like, accidentally 2 guys ran away and we killed them by accident.
Helpful genocide.
Yeah, it's not terrorism.
No, but
because we like saving that term for a specific narrative that has been built up.
Yeah. What do you think with the whole mental illness for like? Oh, dude, the shootings are bad now. Like the whole New Zealand one that just happened, that shit was gnarly as fuck. Like what the hell could you do for the mental? Because like the Las Vegas shooter, I watched a documentary on that last night. The dude had no symptoms. Nobody had any fucking idea that he was going to go and kill 58 people and injure 800 people. Yeah. There was no telltale signs. There was nothing. And then he just did it like at the snap of his fingers.
I don't think the answer is necessarily... It's definitely not one thing, but I think just improving societal standards as a whole, like improving the society that the person's at. Because if you live in America right now, I mean, you can be doing, like, America's a very rich country. You might be doing like financially well in America, but the whole atmosphere of America, the whole like the greed, the flashiness, all those things, I think they culminate and like make people just lose it at some point, and like that's why some people might not see like a sign.
I think the healthcare system in general could possibly be a solution as well, like giving people more access to getting help. I think we need to do very simple measures when it comes to quote unquote gun control. I think instituting more background checks, better background checks,
hard background checks,
because a lot of these mass shooters, they should not have been able to get a weapon, but somehow they still passed the background check and got it. So better background checks. I think you need to have a license to own a gun. Very similar to a car.
Go get tested.
Make sure you know how to use the damn thing.
Yeah. Instead of just dude, I could go to Cabela's right now and fucking buy 3 pistols if I wanted to.
You could.
Never touched a gun in my life. I don't know how to fucking use that thing, and I can go buy it with one of them.
You can.
Because I remember the first time I shot a gun. Like, I shoot guns. My friends are fucking very into guns. But I remember the first time I shot a gun, I was like scared. I was like, dude, like I remember just looking at it and be like, I could fucking murder somebody with this. Like, obviously I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a very weird feeling of empowerment you have when you hold a gun. Like it's you really get a feeling of like, fuck yeah, dude. Like it's kind of
America.
There needs to be some level of respect that it's not a toy.
It's not.
This is a very dangerous piece of machinery.
Hugely, yeah. It's See, the whole thing with guns is like, I don't know, dude. Because people make the argument, oh, well, if he didn't have a gun, he'd have a fucking knife. Well, if he didn't have a, like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why are these people doing it, though? Like, I feel like when it happens, we're like, fuck them, throw them in the cell, let them rot, whatever. Fuck them, we don't care. But it's like, why don't we get into their minds and be like, why did you, like, what were you thinking? Why'd you do this? Like, I don't know. Like,
part of it is the recognition they get for doing it. That's why a lot of countries are now banning any mention of the people's names in the newspapers or anything like that.
Well, that's why I like New Zealand, because New Zealand told just like the news reporters, don't fucking put his face on there, don't put his name on there. What do we do in America? We put his fucking name and face on TV, which is disgusting.
Right, so he gets it anyway.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
And dude, I was listening to Joe Rogan. He was talking about, he's like, you know how like they were talking about how this is like a racist symbol? They're saying,
yeah,
like,
it was.
Like,
they were trying to say that it was. Yeah.
Well, dude, they were like, because he streamed the whole thing. Like, you can watch it, which is very disturbing. 17 minutes.
Yeah,
fucking pure evil.
the shooting in New Zealand.
Yeah, he streamed the entire thing. It's on, obviously, like, it's taken out on Facebook and stuff, but it's on Live Leak probably and all those other fucking good things.
It was even on YouTube and Twitter as well.
Yeah, which is fucked, dude. But dude, I don't, because when he came in, when they like came to give him his like his whatever he was gonna get, he was standing there and doing the sign. Like, he was standing there like, and like, look, it was really weird. Like, the dude was very fucking eerie. And Joe Rogan made the point of like, dude, it seems like he's like trolling. Like, this was like the stuff he was saying before and like his manifesto and all that shit. Like, it seems like he was trolling people, and it was kind of eerie. Like, it made sense to a point, but like, I don't know, dude. Like, what makes a person do that? Kill fucking 49 people, dude. Like,
one definitely is not valuing other people's lives, obviously, in their own life.
Yeah,
hugely. So probably a form of self-love. I know it sounds as stupid as it sounds, but like self-hatred can do a lot of stuff to people.
Yeah,
and like,
sure.
And it's sometimes it's not even when people realize it.
Yeah,
and like I'm not saying that's like the only cause, but there's probably you can't imagine that like I know, but like so people have to go through stuff, and like they probably just didn't talk about it, and they didn't open up about it to anyone, and like they kept it shelled in until they exploded.
Yeah,
and like basically the explosion in this case is probably the shooting.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking is we're in a time where mental illness is finally becoming to a point where it's like people feel like they can talk about it and like get help, and they don't feel like it's fucking 5 years ago, dude. Like, go to a therapist, people were like, what are you, fucking crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you going to a therapist? What's wrong? Now I feel like we're kind of getting to a point, I still feel like on the East Coast where you live in an area where it's like, you're a fucking bitch if you go to therapy or stuff like that.
Around here especially.
Yeah, hugely, dude, hugely. It's like men feel like they need to be manly man. Like, oh, my problems, I can fucking deal with them. I don't need to talk about them. And it's, dude, the simplest going to a therapist and talking about your problems. If somebody that's like 100% neutral, you have no idea who the fuck they are, but they're there listening to you, try to give you tips and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, dude. The whole shooting thing is not like just go to a therapist, or like, it's nowhere near easy to figure out what the fuck to do. Like,
it's a very complex issue. So I think a lot of time what gets fallen on complex issues is that there's complex answers to complex issues.
That's kind of like we were saying about healthcare, or was it healthcare? That whatever solution that we implement is not going to have immediate effects. It's going to take a while for it to show something.
Yeah.
Because there are ridiculous amounts of guns in this country.
Well, dude, I always said, like, if we ever had a war on our ground, dude.
That's why Japan didn't invade the U.S. is because there was enough just registered hunters in, I think, the state of Alabama to be the largest army in the world.
That's not good.
Dude, yeah, that's crazy. If you came here and tried to fight us, bro, no, you go walk around a bush, dude. That's just waiting for you. Like, it would never happen.
I don't think we'll ever see a huge societal collapse again like Rome.
That's a bold statement.
I don't get me wrong. I think societies will decline. Like, I think the United States, for example, stock market's probably going to crash again.
Yeah.
But America as a whole is still going to be there unless the whole world turns against us, which is the world can't get along.
What do you think of Cody? You see, you got something in your mind over there.
I think there almost has to be a societal collapse at some point. I'm not saying even the next 50, 100 years, but there will be a point where we will not have enough food to feed people.
Yeah, as a whole, I could see a societal collapse as a whole. I'm just talking like individual like countries,
Okay.
and like not from outside natural disasters such as like food shortages and like hurricanes. I'm just talking like strictly like Rome fell because it got invaded and taken apart.
Yeah, got fucked.
I mean, if Greece can't even go bankrupt, then I guess no one can.
Yeah, dude, that situation was weird, bro. That's just like, I don't know. Remember, like, how long ago was that when Greece, like...
Almost 10 years ago?
Was it? God damn, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was looking at a fucking article from like 2012. I'm like, this is 7 years old.
Damn, dude.
What the fuck?
Because I remember when they were like, Greece is fucked, dude. Like, they're gonna... Because what would have happened if they would have collapsed? Wouldn't it like fucked up a bunch of other countries
It would have messed up the EU and...
Didn't it lead to Brexit too? Partially.
What the hell's that whole thing about?
Brexit, basically they want to leave the EU because they don't want to be told, because when you join the EU you have to follow certain guidelines, and they don't want to have to follow those guidelines, even though they already have an exception where they can use the Great British the pound, which is a pretty big fucking exception.
Yeah.
Because no one else has their own currency. But they're afraid that the European Union is hindering them in some way.
Yeah.
And so if they leave the EU, they're going to see probably an immediate downcline in their economy.
Yeah.
But after then, it may go up, may go down. I don't know, because trade's going to be hindered now because they can't just freely trade between other European countries because they're not part of the EU.
Yeah.
People can't freely travel between countries because they're not part of the EU anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other like weird things going on with it, but they're just kind of almost at a standstill last time I read anything about it.
Yeah, I don't.
They were going to vote on it, and then they didn't want to vote on it, and then they were going to vote on it again, and then they didn't want to vote on it. And
yeah, that was recent.
They're indecisive
too,
as fuck about it. Yeah. I think it was even the past couple of weeks.
I think it was. I'm looking it up right now.
Well, it's because there was such a big kind of like, a lot of citizens were behind it. A majority, apparently.
Yeah.
And now they don't want to go against a majority of the citizens, even if they don't have all the facts and they don't understand the implications of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not even misinformation. It's just an ignorance. Yeah. I think we have that problem in America.
Oh, we definitely do. It's not even a question.
I just went on CNN, and it says Trump accuses Facebook and Twitter of collusion against conservatives. He must listen to Joe Rogan podcast, huh? Oh my god, dude! All right, I got another topic I want to discuss with you because I feel like I want to hear your. How do you feel about anti-vaxxers? What's your whole thing on that?
Anti-vaxxers, eh?
Anti-vaxxers, eh? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know how to approach the situation because.
How did this even... I want to look up how the fuck this started.
I'm pretty sure... Well, it was based in... what religion... What sect of Christianity is it? Is it...
Of course it's a section of Christianity.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's the same sect that doesn't celebrate any holidays.
Oh, I'm trying to find it right now. Smallpox.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm looking it up.
That's where it came from originally. It was like the first non-vaccination group, and then there was a study that came out that has since been retracted multiple times over that said that
mercury
that vaccines cause autism.
Yeah.
His studies were terribly flawed, and it's quite obvious if you actually read the studies, but people don't.
People just see the headline. They're like, "Oh, fuck,
people
dude."
see the headline and they don't see the retraction. They don't see the explanation as to why it's wrong. And then people get afraid of the stuff that's in these vaccines. Oh, mercury, whatever. What other stuff they put in these vaccines that people are, for whatever reason, afraid of.
So, what do you think is going to happen with anti-vaccines? What do you think?
Well, you already see the like spread of like measles in some like isolated towns that like don't vaccinate their children.
Measles outbreak for the first time in 50 years
since it was fucking gone. Like it's.
Yep. So basically, I don't really even get the argument. Even if vaccines did cause autism,
We gotta talk about that Harvard thing, bro.
No, it's all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I just remembered that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard. Even if vaccines were proven to cause autism, would you rather have autism, like a chance at autism, a very low percentage chance at autism, or would you be basically not guaranteed but have a really high risk of getting a really deadly disease?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what are you weighing here?
We need vaccines because we need this herd immunity, because there are people that can't get vaccines because their immune system is too low.
Yeah.
And so when people stop getting vaccines, they get sick, and then they make the people that can't get vaccines sick.
Yeah. Because the whole thing with like you were saying about autism is a weird thing now, because it's like, I don't know what's causing it, because it seems, I don't want to say it's more rampant, but like
we're better at diagnosing it now.
Yeah. It's that may be also a reason why we see a lot of rises in some cases. Maybe some of these problems were already existing. It's just now they're being reported on and spotlights being shown to them.
Yeah.
Because most of our understanding of autism comes within the last 20 years.
Yeah. And autism's like, it's weird because autism people, like, they can't talk or some, like, different stages of autism.
Yeah, there's a spectrum of autism, but people think that autism is just that, what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're very, very, very intelligent people too. Like, my ex-girlfriend's brother had autism. And he was super detailed. Like, he was obsessed with DVDs, like obsessed. He loved to collect DVDs and stuff like that. And he was a super intelligent kid, like very, very. It's like they can get to parts of your brain that like regular people kind of can't, in a way. But like,
I read a couple articles how like not every child with autism or person with autism, but like a good percentage of them have a really good niche. They're extremely really good at something niche, and like it's just fascinating to see.
It's crazy.
Their brain was grown differently at birth, and that's in the same part of the brain that happens to make them autistic. I don't know what actually makes you autistic, but also makes you more intelligent. It's not always the case that someone that is autistic is highly intelligent, but a good percentage of the time. People that are like Einstein and these wickedly smart people also have a very similar brain growth pattern. It was just not to the point where they had autism. They may have actually probably had mild autism,
like Asperger's.
I know a lot about Einstein's brain. When after he died, like there was a part, and when he was growing up, basically there's a part in your brain when you're a kid that like basically allows you to absorb a lot of information, and like just rapidly gain and absorb information. But for some reason in Einstein's brain, this part of his brain never stopped.
What?
Like as he grew older, this part of this brain just continued to grow, and like it's insane.
Because didn't Einstein have a problem with like communicating with people? Wasn't he like kind of?
He was socially.
Because didn't he have like a bunch of girlfriends too?
One of his theories actually just got proven yesterday.
Oh, with the cross.
Yeah.
What was it?
It's really, I'll try to find out. It's super complex.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude. Yeah, Einstein was something fucking else, dude. Something else.
Well, we'll dive into the Harvard. We'll say the Einstein. We'll dive into the Harvard University here. So there's basically this. Let me pull it up. There's a new study from a student in Harvard on that basically proved what it did was it went into a worm's brain. They were testing on a worm, and what they did was basically they found there's large parts of a worm's brain, and I'm pretty sure a human's brain has not similar, but like they have like their makeups, like basically the outline of them is similar, not obviously not exactly the same, but like in the parts of this worm's brain, they were able to like poke and like basically like turn off certain parts of this worm's brain. They found when they turned off specifically one part of this worm's brain that its ability to basically make itself healthy just totally shut off. Just totally, like literally it wasn't able to heal itself. It was still fully functioning, and like it was still like living, but it wasn't able to heal itself at all. So what basically the theory is that they can now replicate that in a human mind and find out what would do that in a human's mind to basically turn off the ability to like heal yourself. If they could then find that and then find a way to ramp it up and basically use it against itself and basically make it like so humans rapidly cure themselves.
God damn, dude.
That shit's keeping me up at night.
So it's basically like kind of
human regeneration.
Yeah. A very, very, very strong.
That was what's the term that they use, but it's not exactly that. But
yeah. Jesus Christ, dude.
So that's the kind of shit Harvard's working on. You have any thoughts about that, Cody?
Yeah, what do you
I'm trying to...
Your brain's running over there. I see it. Yeah, dude, that's pretty... Harvard always got some pretty good goddamn studies, but like... It amazes me the shit they do with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just like I can't imagine just being a student looking that shit up, bro.
For real, dude, for real.
If anyone out there is interested in that, I'm pretty sure the guy's doing an AMA on Reddit soon.
Oh, so,
Yeah,
nice.
you can look into it.
When it comes to worms, do you happen to know, is it a specific organ that allows them to regenerate, or is it a part of their DNA?
It's a specific part of their, like, it's a part of their brain. It's parts of their brain that normally are just not used. Like
that just cause like massive amounts of cell growth to just happen rapidly.
It's here. It's basically that scientists have now discovered that in worms, a section of non-coding or junk DNA controls the activation of a master control gene called early growth response, short for EGR, which acts like a power switch, turning the ability to heal on and off. And they basically went on. So I don't know exactly the part of the brain that they went into, but it's basically saying that they found basically a part of the worm's brain that it wasn't using, and they went in.
I'm afraid to make a statement without reading the entire...
No, you're good.
No, dude, go for it.
Without the entire article, but...
So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not sure if it is a specific gene, then why aren't we just doing gene editing therapy and just using it that way? Like, why would we need to directly change the function of someone's brain?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing with CRISPR. That's what we've been doing for who knows how long, just with generalized gene therapy. CRISPR is just cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just confused. I think it's just because I don't have all the information.
No, it's not. It'll probably be easier if you just read about it. But yeah, that shit's complex as fuck.
It's really, really interesting though.
Yeah, and like you're right. Part of the I think that's what the difficult part is going to be, like when like you're seeing like they're trying to like replicate that in a human's brain. The human's brain is probably, I would imagine, I don't know for sure, but I imagine it's totally different than a worm's brain. So like
they'll probably then do it on mice. That'll probably be the next step, is just trying to do it on mice, and then pigs, because they are actually more
like us.
They're monkeys are actually.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Didn't they use like, couldn't they like use an organ from a pig and put it in a body?
They do all the time actually.
Yeah, which is crazy.
They use, they still use pig liver to filter blood for dialysis.
I got you.
I think it's the liver.
Wow, that's crazy. I never knew that.
Or is it kidneys?
What do you feel about
I'm not sure.
The whole CRISPR thing? What do you feel about like livestock they can use CRISPR for now? They can use the probably like genetically modified meat. Like, how do you feel about the whole science community with CRISPR and gene editing and stuff like that?
So I'm going to attack that in multiple parts.
Go for it.
So at least on the basis of CRISPR being used in just humans.
Yeah.
I think we have to. I want to say we actually touched on this like the very first broadcast.
Yeah, we probably did. The shitty mic, everybody.
We have to at least do something with it, because if not, it's going to be used for nefarious purposes by another country if it's not in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
We can't just say, oh, we're just going to put a moratorium on it and then not actually try and actively regulate the technology. Mm-hmm. We don't even know though if it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, didn't they just have?
Yeah.
Remember they had like, I think, twins or something in a womb for CRISPR. And I think something, let me look it up. I think something happened with them that wasn't good.
Yeah, the last experiment they did, the problem is that they were able to give the trait that they wanted to give whatever trait they were trying to give the specimen. The problem is there was a lot of other weird things that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think this is something we do need to delve into, and I don't like the argument that we're playing God, so to speak.
I don't think we're really playing
I think
God.
this is the next evolution of humans.
Yeah, and science as a whole too.
Yeah.
Like we were Homo erectus, or is that? Yeah, then we become Homo sapien, and now we're going to be whatever new genus, this new species. I think that's how we reach basically that next level that, if there are other societies, that societies go through.
Yeah.
So I think it's something. I think that's why we have such a drive to innovate, is because we're trying to push ourselves to evolve and do something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I was even thinking too, like when global warming gets really shitty, like you could use, like, say when it gets super hot, like say we lose our ozone layer and shit like that. Like Australia's fucked right now, dude. They have no ozone layer over Australia. Like
really?
Nothing's protecting them from the sun at all now. Yeah, and it's like when global warming gets shitty, because it will eventually, unless we change it. Like humans are gonna have to adapt to that, like very, very, very heavily. And I feel like CRISPR would be a good thing to like.
You have more melanin now.
Exactly. Do that type of stuff and like help out the humans later in life. And then like if you make a CRISPR baby, I guess would the genetics carry over? If you have like, say like a CRISPR baby grows up, will the genetics go over to their baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
That will carry over, but if you put it in just a regular person, basically the baby has to be born with those genetics for it to carry over, is my understanding. You can't give it to someone and then they can pass it on. The baby has to be born with these new genetics.
So they have to like, every time they make a baby with CRISPR, it has to like,
well,
boop, boop, boop.
Once that first baby though has it, then they can pass it on.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, it's
even with does CRISPR make like meat, like fake like burgers?
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
Well, in vitro meat creation is I don't know if they're using CRISPR for that, but that's something that might be a solution for the food shortage problem.
Yeah. And that could solve a array of issues, along with like just like the over usage, or like we basically use too many like cows, we kill too many cows, we kill too many chickens, and like in order to do that, we need to force feed them antibiotics for a large part, and that's creating antibiotic resistant bacteria, which obviously no one fucking wants that shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing just a massive amount of just new treatment resistant bacteria, which is insane to think about that.
Evolution's one hell of a thing, man.
Yeah, it says here how burgers are grown. Tissue is taken from cow, stem cells are extracted from the tissue, stem cells are then grown into muscle fibers in the lab. In 6 weeks, 20,000 muscle fibers are then cultured, mixed with fats, and shaped into a burger. Wow, dude.
I think that burger cost $100,000.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading.
The problem is getting the cost down.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper than it was 5 years ago when it was $10 million for that same burger.
We'll definitely get to a point where that's going to be like, it's going to be a very large thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, another question I got, will vegetarians stop being vegetarians? You know what I'm saying?
I have a philosophical question. I don't know if it's philosophical. It's just a question. Why do vegetarians not eat mollusks?
What's mollusks?
Mollusks are like oysters and things like that. They have no consciousness. They don't feel pain.
Yeah.
Plants feel pain.
Which is fucking weird, dude.
Plants have some form of consciousness.
Yep.
Mollusks don't. They're the most primitive form of organisms. So if they existed before plants did, why do vegetarians not eat mollusks?
Yeah, that is a good question.
I don't.
Well, no, they're even finding out now that plants communicate with each other.
Yep.
Like they're figuring out that plants have like a communication system where, like, say a giraffe is eating a tree, like eating one of these trees. A tree fucking miles down the road will change its leaves to make sure it doesn't get eaten by the giraffe. So like we're finding out plants have a communication system going on, which is really, really, really fun. It makes sense, but it's like, it's a crazy concept to think. Yeah. Like you said, vegetarians are talking about how, we don't eat the mollusks you were saying? Mollusks?
They don't eat anything but plants. It's mollusks.
But they'll eat plants that we're finding out are living organisms now, that are legit living organisms and could have anything. Like they talk. They don't talk, obviously, but like they have a form of communication, like not like us who speak with our words. Like it's crazy. Like I want to see.
I'm trying to find it now, but there's a plant that it can literally communicate, like, and basically all the plant is found across all sectors of the world pretty much, and basically it has the same cycle regardless of where it's at.
Wow.
And like they pretty much all blossom and bloom around the same exact time.
Well, even if we think about like fungi, and they have consciousness, it's quite evident. They did a few experiments where they put little bits of food on every major like area in Japan.
Yeah.
And then they just put this fungi in there, and it went to all of these different points. And what it effectively did is it made a more efficient subway transportation system in Japan than what is there, because it went in the most efficient pattern to attack all of these little food sources.
Yeah.
We've seen that fungi can communicate, with other fungi when they're ridiculous distances away.
Yeah.
And we don't understand how.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, how the hell...
There's so much on Earth that we just don't know about, man.
Yeah, dude. Like,
as much information as we have, there is still so much out there.
I think it's a higher form of consciousness. I don't think it's the form that we are, like, that we have. I think it's something you can't really
describe it.
Yeah, because we can't comprehend it. Yeah. But it's the highest form of consciousness, perhaps.
Yeah, like just. Dude, that's
just communication mind to mind.
Jesus, dude, that is really ridiculous.
They're almost part of like the larger consciousness that exists just in the universe. Yeah, like a universal consciousness.
Okay. Yeah. God damn, dude.
That's that. I'm talking about deep topics. That's a deep topic.
Maybe that's how they communicate with such vast distances, because they're just part of a universal consciousness.
Yeah, because it's like.
And I was reading before, even humans are sort of like caught up in that to an extent, just because like humans want to fit in with their, like, you want to fit into a societal standard, you want to fit into like a peer standard, you want to fit in with your parents' standards, everyone just wants that cohesiveness, and I think that sort of goes not totally the same, but like similar.
Well, why do I feel someone else's emotions when I'm not that person?
Yeah.
I don't even have, like, why people don't even have to look at their facial expression. They feel their emotions somehow. Yeah. Just by being near them.
Yeah. Well, that's even like when you take like LSD or something. Like when you take LSD and you're tripping around people, like if they don't even say a word to you, you can feel their energy. Like you can feel it's really fucking weird. Like you can feel energy from like everything around you. Like not like just like if you're around somebody and they're pissed off, you're going to know they're pissed off, or they even tell you they're pissed off. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like it's
with dimethyltryptamine, you can have 10 people, give them DMT, and they will all have similar experiences somehow.
Yeah, nobody knows. That's the thing with DMT, is they're saying like, because dude, I saw this funny thing before we go into DMT. It's about DMT, but I was looking up DMT trips, and this dude took DMT, and he said he got kicked out by the cosmetic police. And he said his trip was going good. Everything was going good. And at the end of the trip, the cosmetic police grabbed him and were talking to him and were like, "Don't do DMT again. Like, don't do DMT for a while. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break." And when you look up DMT stories, everybody sees mostly the same thing. They either see entities, or like some people say like they do it and like a tent falls and like somebody's face is trying to push through, and there's like a clock. Like there's usually a clock too, which is weird. And that's the thing with DMT. They're thinking, is DMT, is that from the drug, or is that from like is that like a dimension, or like what the fuck's going on with it? Like,
also maybe like, I know maybe the clock could represent like humans' obsession with time. As a human, you're constantly worried about time.
Yeah.
I'm sure that your mind is playing some kind of or has some kind of influence on this.
Yeah.
To what extent, though? That's the interesting part.
Mm-hmm.
Because people can achieve these very similar states by years and years of practicing meditation.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah.
but we can somehow just do this like in a super efficient, fast method.
Yeah.
And so that's why people reach out to psychedelics. They can achieve effectively enlightenment in a few minutes.
Well, that's like even like the thing with like, I don't know what it's called. It's not ayahuasca. I forget what it's called.
Iboga?
It's when they go down like Peru and people have like super.
It is a cure for addiction.
Yeah.
It has been proven to be a cure for addiction. We knew that back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. And did you know about this at all?
No.
What happens is people like are addicted to heroin have been rehabbed like 7 times. They can't fucking get off it. They can't get off it. They go down to Peru because it's only, I think it's legal Peru, right? I think it's
Peru,
legal.
in a few other South American countries.
Yeah. It's legal there. And you go down, you have like a shaman. And you go to the shaman, and the shaman's like...
Well, now they don't even do it with shamans. They have clinics.
What's a
they
shaman?
have clinics now?
They have clinics.
So a shaman would basically be someone to like personalize your like experience.
They'll like help you
recovery.
through and guide you.
They have full-fledged clinics now where you actually... It's like a normal medical treatment.
Yeah, which I'll go on to that topic then after this. But they were saying that like, so you go down, you take it, and it's not like it's like a fun time. Like it's like, ooh, I'm seeing colors. This is great. It's fucking intense and like hell, basically. Like it's not like a fun hallucinogenic. It's a very, very, very. It'll bring you to the depths of your fucking hell, like the depths. And people take it. Don't have any desire to do heroin again, have no desire to smoke cigarettes again. Like their addiction is just 100% fucking gone, dude. And it makes no sense.
It happens actually before you trip too.
Really?
The addiction fades before you trip. They are thinking that based on the way that it attaches to fat molecules, we can actually possibly microdose it and have a similar effect over a long period of time.
Wow.
Because you can basically build up enough of the certain subtype of iboga, and like cure addiction over a longer period of time, so people don't have to go through this massive unpleasant experience.
Yeah.
To be free of addiction.
That's not even successful. Like,
well, it is. It's
not all the time, but like.
Almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about like the actual like normal like Americanized cure for addiction.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
That's the problem with that.
We give people methadone that's harder to get off of than heroin, and
What I was gonna say is exactly. Our country is built with. We use rehab clinics as money. It's a fucking business. Like no matter what you want to say, rehabs are a fucking business. I know somebody. My fucking mom that went to rehab and she had to pay a fucking insane amount of money. She went to Karen. That's like one of the best fucking rehabs in the goddamn country. And Steven Tyler went there. And like the amount of money you have to pay just to get good help, like good help that's going to help you. Cause like they tell you like fucking 10% of you're going to be like 10% of you're going to be fucking sober the rest of your life and the rest of you're going to be back here. Like they tell you straight out. But it's like, why aren't we utilizing this drug that could very well help people not ever come back? It's because they won't ever come back then. That's because they're losing customers basically, and it's kind of
terrible.
You know why that we have this big negative connotation towards it? Are you aware of why?
No.
During the Nixon, when he was running for president, his opponent was winning, and it was known that he used Ibogaine.
Hunter S. Thompson, right? Yeah. Hunter S. Go ahead, finish.
In his well, no, it was someone connected with Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
In his younger years, and that's what, because then Nixon was all about anti-drugs and whatever. That's when Ibogaine started getting its bad rap.
Yeah.
Even though it does a lot of good.
Yeah, which is
terrible, man.
I feel like we fucked up heavily on hallucinogenics. We, like you said, Nixon was like, fuck them, they don't do anything. We stopped researching them, and when was it? It was like late 1960s or like
something like that.
And we stopped researching them until like fucking 2000 or something like that. We finally started researching it, and we're finding fucking MDMA is about to be in the FDA to help people get rid of PTSD. Ketamine is
just got approved.
Dude, ketamine, I honestly want to go to a ketamine clinic so fucking bad. Yeah. I've done ketamine recreational. It's not a fucking fun drug to do. It's honestly just, you just do it and you can't move your fucking body. But like they're finding it helps with depression. Like people do it.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, and then they're
cured basically.
Yeah, they're cured for a couple months. They go back to another treatment and they're just, everything's good. Like, and it feels like hallucinogenics have more power than people think they do. Like,
I think there's a new hallucinogenic, I don't want to say revolution, but move. I mean, we might even see the decriminalization in Boulder of shrooms.
Yeah.
We might see it in Washington. It's probably going to be on the ballot in 2020 to decriminalize it and to actually create an initiative so that you can go to effectively a dispensary that has a therapist, and you can like go to a therapist and have psilocybin trip.
Somebody watching over you, make sure everything goes okay.
See, I think that's a part of the. I think that's just freedom. I think that's what the definition of freedom is. You have the choice to do things, and like I don't think people should go out and do like cocaine. I'm not saying that at all, but like if you want to go out and do cocaine, you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And like that, your government shouldn't tell you no. Obviously, it's a bad decision, but like if you're making that decision, you should be able to do that along with any other drug along those lines. And obviously, we should ban these really hard drugs that really serve no I don't know, not necessarily that, no, but like we should have certain regulations on certain things, but I think as a whole, you should have that choice.
Yeah.
It's such a weird like mix because people are always like, oh, democracy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those people are also biggest on the war on drugs, which is a complete opposite of democracy. Or they're big for Medicare. That's a socialized program.
Yeah, I cannot stand when people like, it's the worst when they, for example, like I was reading about the comparisons between Norway and America, and like people were like picking apart certain like Norway systems, and like it just. There's a lot of socialist ideas that people don't even realize, like road work a lot, like not when I say work, like been planning roads, like putting a whole state highway in. That's socialism right there. So
police officers, firefighters, all these are socialistic programs. I think you'd like to have a firefighter available if your house is on fire.
Yeah, or a police officer if you're getting fucking robbed. You know what I mean? Like,
So we're okay with some level of socialism, but then others are just completely off the table. I mean, I think it just takes a little bit of time, because even when Medicare and Social Security was first implemented, people were saying socialism. And now it's a pretty popular program. It takes up the vast majority of our budget, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. If you take Social Security away now, people will freak the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
So I was gonna say something, I forgot. Do you want to wrap this bitch up? We're an hour 30 in.
That's pretty good. That was a good podcast.
Dude, that was a fucking awesome podcast. God damn.
Great having you on, Cody.
Dude, yes. This is why Cody is my favorite guest to bring on. Hands fucking down. You got any ending topics, Michael, you want to end on?
I'll give a shout out to we'll just shout out to Hamburg stores. How about that?
Yeah,
hopefully get us a sponsor. Reading Skate Shop too.
Do you care if I talk about one last thing real quick?
No, dude, go for it. All you fucking want. Let's go.
I was going to mention this back when we were kind of on the pharmaceutical industry and talking about how we want to like be okay. We want to say that pharmaceutical companies are capitalistic, but then we're mad at them for raising drug prices.
Yeah.
Do you know who Martin Shkreli is?
Yep. He's in jail right now.
Yes. What do you think of Martin Shkreli?
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know.
What is your first reaction to Martin Shkreli?
Piece of shit. Yes,
okay. So yeah, Martin Shkreli is in jail for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's putting that philosophy into test, basically.
$7.4 million in fines.
What did he exactly do?
So this is interesting. So the reason why he first got a bad rap is because he bought a pharmaceutical company that had a certain drug. I think it was a diabetes medication.
Let me look it up for you.
But I don't want. It might have been a cancer medication. Either way, he rose the drug price up. It might have been AIDS. I think it is AIDS. He rose the drug price quite significantly. Well, okay, he is perfectly allowed to do that. It is a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
That they arrived at that number also based on, because that company that owned it before never rose drug prices. They arrived at that number based on the average that drug prices had risen since the last time they rose that drug price when they bought the company over. Yeah. It was actually a little bit lower than the average rise in drug price. So he got a bad rap for that. Then he also founded Turing Pharmaceuticals. So Turing Pharmaceuticals, which no one really talked about for whatever reason, they basically worked on medication, or worked to find medication for illnesses that were kind of forgotten. So like those illnesses that only like 1,000 people have.
Yeah.
That we could actually very easily find medicine for them. But it's not that you don't make a lot of money from it, so no one really cares about it. And then he also had he was a hedge fund manager, and then he also had he was also the CEO or board member of another financial firm. And so he was put in jail for securities fraud because they said that he created a Ponzi scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, none of the investors lost any money whatsoever that were part of this supposed Ponzi scheme. The only reason they are targeting him is because he got a bad rap for raising these drug prices.
Yeah.
However, insurances still covered it to the same level. So people weren't really paying that much more. If they didn't have insurance, he personally delivered the medication to them for free.
Wow, I did not know that.
No one talks about that either.
No, because it doesn't make news headlines. That's not a good news headline.
Because
he also wants a very exclusive Wu-Tang album too.
Yes, he does.
He does. he also did. He also has classes. He put them up for free on YouTube. On finance, he had free classes on chemistry, like hours and hours and hours of content.
Yeah, because he live streamed a lot, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a little bit of a eccentric person, or possibly a little bit of a nut, but regardless, the only reason people care about his name is because they're looking for someone to hold accountable for drug price hikes.
Yeah.
Why don't you hold accountable the people that are actually effectively causing this by not regulating drug prices?
Yeah.
You also can look at, did you hear about the individual that created that basically fake way of analyzing blood?
Mm-mm.
So her name is Elizabeth Holmes. She basically supposedly created this machine when she was 19 that would analyze a single drop of blood, and you'd be able to get a full panel from a single drop of blood, which is great because now you can take less blood. It's more efficient. Takes less money. Well, she never created this, actually. She falsified all of the things that she supposedly had done.
Enron did.
Basically. When she would show up to conventions and stuff, they actually already had the results for this blood that they were supposedly testing in this machine that it would spit out. She only got fined like $500,000.
Damn.
And she stole millions of dollars from investors.
Did she go to jail or anything?
Nope.
It's exactly like the people in Enron. That's why I said that Enron comment. Just like the people in Enron totally misled investors totally on how much money they were making and stuff. And these people only faced like a year in prison.
Yeah.
Like maybe max.
Some got out early on good behavior.
Yeah. So.
And then they also got good settlement or good severance pay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it says here Martin Shkreli, who raised drug prices from $13 to $750.
Yeah, that was lower than how high drug prices were rising on average.
So it's the companies that raises them, obviously. So like if you make fucking whatever drug you make, are you the person that controls the price, or does somebody else control the price?
You control your price.
You control your price?
Yes.
Okay.
So one of those problems is that people are saying they're hiking up too much. Well,
it was AIDS, by the way. That's what it was.
AIDS. Okay. You also have to consider the fact that a lot of these drugs take billions of dollars to create.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they get basically a monopolistic license to use it. They can only use it themselves for the next 15 years, I believe is the year. And so they have to recoup their investment. Okay. Well, most of these companies, they also offer programs to help bring down the drug price if people don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Which we also don't talk about. I'm not saying that we don't have a problem with drug prices. I'm saying that I think people are looking at it from a different perspective, that maybe they need to shift their focus and their blame to the people that are allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
It's not Shkreli's fault that he was a product of the market.
Exactly, dude. That's a very good point. Yeah.
He bought out a company that wasn't doing so great, that had a drug that he viewed their prices could be raised and the company could be doing well. The company is doing well right now.
Yeah.
He was just being an investor because he was interested in the biotech field. A lot of the biotech companies that he said are going to be good, a lot of be successful before he went to jail. If you had bought like a portfolio of those companies, you would get like, I think, some ridiculous % returns.
Yeah.
He's not the person that people make him out to be. I'm not trying to be a fucking Martin Shkreli fanboy, but at the same time,
no, you're just trying to
it
clear the
bothers
guy's
me.
name,
Yeah.
It really bothers me that people hate him so much when they don't know anything about him.
Yeah, dude, because I had no idea. Like, if you took, like I said, like, what do you think of Martin Shkreli? Piece of shit. I had no idea about any of that information at all. Like, I did not know any of that at all. And it's a very valid point. How long is he in jail for anyways?
7 years.
7 years?
Yeah, 7 years.
Who's the one that makes it? So, obviously, is it the government that said, it's you guys' decision, you make whatever you want? Like,
Yeah, they indicted him. Wait, is that your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like, yeah. I had that question. But like, is it the government that's like, all right, you guys control your own drug prices. We won't fuck with you. You can like...
The FDA is...
FDA?
They could implement it. I mean, they're the ones that approve drugs to go on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we look at Mylan, the one who owns the EpiPens.
Yep.
Now that there's...
It's just terrible.
Well, there's now a company that's... making a generic version.
Yeah, I saw
But
that.
Good.
they were a low-price drug company. They only raised one drug price, and that was the only drugs out of their like 20 different drugs they had that they rose prices on. Most of their drugs were like $10, $7 per refill.
Yeah.
And so, since they are a company, they decided, hey, let's raise this. It was a good jump, but let's raise this so we can make some money since we're doing good everywhere else.
Yeah.
Companies or insurance companies still covered it. They also offered programs. If you couldn't afford it, we would give it to you for free.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about that for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sort of gets lost. I think it's really easy to generalize pharmaceutical companies, like you said, and like it's really easy to point blame.
Yeah,
that's what I think. You're right with that. It really is easy to just be like, hey, this is this guy's fault, and like call it that.
Everybody wants to always point the finger at somebody.
There's definitely problems in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
At no point am I saying otherwise, but we are focusing on the wrong things. We need to focus on insurance companies to make sure they are mandatorily required to cover prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And then if we want to complain about drug prices, then we put a cap on how much you can charge for a drug.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people act like our government can't regulate the market like that. Our government could pretty much easily
regulate. We regulate so many prices already. We regulate milk prices. We regulate wheat prices. If a farmer doesn't sell enough wheat, the government fucking buys it from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you have ICT and shit in schools, because the milk farmers make that shit as well.
Yeah.
That's because that tea is just as bad as soda is for you.
Oh, probably worse, dude, honestly.
But because farmers don't make soda, it's not in the schools.
Yeah. Dude, no.
Crazy.
Dude, yeah,
Crazy.
That is crazy.
And milk's terrible for you, by the way.
Yeah, from all that shit you guys used to say it helps your bones and stuff. You're wrong, because it doesn't do dick for you. We're not even supposed to ingest it, really, right? Like,
no, you're wrong.
Well, you don't actually, your body isn't able to intake really any of the calcium from milk anyway.
Yeah.
It's much better if you get it from a more bioactive form, like a pill.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard that like a year or two ago that milk doesn't help your bones really at all.
It doesn't.
It's
even like, what about almond milk or like nut milks?
If they add a bioactive
it's a
calcium additive.
To add it, yeah.
That'd be a good idea too.
Because you see that now, you'll see like almond milk with calcium added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I know Walmart does.
If it has high bioavailability, then yes, it'll help you. But a lot of these like vitamins they add to shit are not very bioavailable, so you don't actually get any benefit from
Well, that's what they were saying about like multivitamins and shit. They're like,
a lot of them aren't very good.
Yeah, if you take a multivitamin,
you just pee out most of it.
Yeah, because that's when I take my vitamins, I haven't taken in a little while. I take probiotic, but that's about it really. And omega-3s I take.
Probiotic's about the best thing you can do for your body.
Dude, it's super good for you. And it's just like a little baby pill you take.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, because when I would take my vitamins, I would pee, and my pee would be fucking bright yellow. And I think it's like vitamin
B12.
Yeah, B12 coming out because your body can't take any more of it or something.
Not
shit
D12.
Like that. Yeah,
B12.
But no, dude, I was reading about that too, saying how because I was taking my vitamins and I read that article and I was like, fuck, dude, like I thought I was doing good for myself and it's not even really doing anything for my body. Like,
Well, I mean, a lot of the suggestion will be you can't overtake vitamins except for iron. Don't take too much iron. You die from too much iron. So taking a vitamin like can't hurt you. It can only help you.
yeah.
But a lot of times it's just expensive pee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good point.
Shitty, man. Not literally shitty. It's more pissy. But
Yeah. For like vitamin water, for instance, like there's like 1 cent worth of vitamins in vitamin water.
And like 80 grams of sugar.
Yeah, it's just as bad as soda is for you.
I know, dude, because I remember the one time I went skating and I got like 4 fucking vitamin waters, like the big
I don't even
bottles.
think they taste good.
The only flavor I like is XXX. Lemonade's all right too. I fuck with lemonade a little. But I remember I drank like 3 of them. And dude, I remember the end of the day, it was like a hot day too. I was sweating. My shirt was soaked.
just piss straight brown.
Dude, I remember I felt like I was gonna pass out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I thought I like drank like good stuff.
Something good for you, yeah.
And I didn't. Like it was so much sugar. I had like a fucking 200 milligrams of sugar in my body, and my body was like, "Dude, what the fuck did you
do to me?" Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's why I strictly drink water now too, because my mom told me like. I don't know. I don't think this is true, but it fucks with me. My grandma thinks aspartame's like one of the reasons why my grandfather got ALS. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true at all. But now that sticks to me in my fucking head. So I like stay away from like aspartame drinks. I'm like, I'm just going to drink water when I go and do public. Like when I go and fucking work my body. and stuff.
Aspartame actually does have a link to cancer. And it's specifically, in case if you're wondering, it's specifically usually found in diet sodas is really a really common place for it.
Very, very high doses, there might be a link.
Yeah.
There
so if you're like sitting there chugging it.
Yes,
Yeah.
possibly, but
Drinking straight aspartame. out of the fucking
the
sugar,
studies
yeah.
that have been conducted also don't remove the fact that people that drink diet soda are normally not the most healthy individuals.
Yeah, dude, nobody talks about that. Like, you know what I mean?
Could I get a large number 1 with a Diet Coke?
Yeah, dude. Like nobody ever explains that part of it ever.
It does lower your metabolism. That is quite obvious. So you think, I'm going to drink a diet soda. Well, now you're going to be fucked even more.
Yeah.
Your metabolism is shit.
Oh, America.
All right, let's wrap this bitch up. We're at hour 45. The longest podcast. Of course it was.
Oh, yeah.
Of course it was. God
Sorry, I
damn
just
it.
had to get that in.
No, dude, I fucking love
Nah,
it, bro.
totally. You need
Great,
to put some. We
dude.
literally need to put some respect on Skrilly's name.
Yeah, dude, let's put some respect on Skrilly's name.
Really need to put some respect.
I won't
on
put respect on his name he doesn't have the Wu-Tang album anymore, though. He sold it.
Yeah.
He got rid of it.
Oh, really?
Probably for his lawyers.
I think Wu-Tang was like, yo, dude.
Oh, Wu-Tang didn't even want him to have it because they also had a bad view of him. So.
Yeah. Fucking Wu-Tang, dude.
He also owned Carter 5 before it came out, too.
He did?
Yeah, a couple years before it came out. He had the song Mona Lisa playing in the background of a YouTube video really long time ago.
Damn, bro.
Hey, and you got money,
Exactly. You bought whatever the fuck you want.
He's a crazy person.
I know. I used to watch his live streams a little after that whole shit came out, and he's just like, he always plays with his hair and shit. And like,
He's eccentric, definitely. But
Yeah.
he's not really that bad of a person.
Yeah, what he did wasn't, like we said,
There's a lot more bad people in the United States system that we could dive into.
Yeah. He's the least of our worries.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. All right. You got any topics? I don't have any topics.
No, I think that's about it.
we wrapped
Thanks for
it up.
listening to the 48th episode of the Cardboard Box Theory.
Thank you once again, Cody, for coming on.
Yeah,
It's trouble getting you on
fun.
sometimes, but when you come on, it's a fucking blast, dude.
Thank you.
That was the 40th episode. We're out.